Castlevania Nocturne season review. Now, before I get into the review, make sure that you've seen the entirety of Castlevania Nocturne before watching this video, because I will be spoiling you on the entirety of the season. Now, up front, I really enjoyed this season, okay? I did have a few gripes with some of the aspects of the show, but more on that on the later part of the video. So this show dropped this Thursday on Netflix, all 8 episodes. So the official synopsis of Castlevania Nocturne reads as following off the IMDb website. As revolution sweeps France, Richard Belmont fights to uphold his family's legacy and prevent the rise of a ruthless, power-hungry vampire ruler. For me, I was literally expecting a show to continue around Belmont as well as Cypher, right, co-parenting as parents, or maybe following their children's story as the show progressed. To my surprise, this is something that is happening, I think, about 300 years later, which was a bit of a surprise but more interesting for me. Now, the plot development, I will say Castlevania's pacing has always been excellent for me, right? This is why it's so easy to literally finish this show in one sitting or a weekend, because of the sweet and concise episodes. So the length of the episodes are about 20 to 30 minutes, and some of the major plot twists that I actually enjoyed on the show include, firstly, how this show was rooted in real life. So for example, the fact that slavery was at the center of this show, okay? And to be honest with you, it was one of the gripes that I actually had against the show, right? Because of the supercharged political climate, I would have thought that they wouldn't focus on such a topic like that, right? Now, while I will say that it did rub me the wrong way, I will admit that it gave the show a bit of gravitas. It gave it a bit of emotion behind a character whose story was focused around slavery, right? Now, the second thing is about, or the fact that Abbott had a daughter, right, with Maria's mom, right, and Maria being the child, of course. Again, I think you can see the reaction from that one royal guard that was looking at Abbott. You know, it sort of encapsulated how we all felt about that plot twist. The one other gripe that I will have against the show is the depiction of religion, okay? I don't know, but something about the recent shows, especially Castlevania, they just have this negative take on religion. It would be very nice to actually see some positive representation for religious groups, but I will admit I'm a bit biased because myself, I'm religious. And of course, the big plot twist, which was at the end of the show, which is Alucard showing up. Oh man, I did love or enjoy seeing that guy. Now, moving on to the themes and messages of the show. So the first one, obviously, is the theme of slavery. But above that there is a constant struggle between people in the world that think there is a hierarchy amongst human beings. And of course, in the world of Castlevania Nocturne, vampires being at the top, followed by everybody else, royalty, and in terms of race, they don't want to play at it. They don't specifically say it, but you can see that they're implying it, right? And another one that I quite loved was exploring African religion, right? Or the ancestry, for lack of a better word. I love seeing that, we're exploring African gods like Ogun, etc., and them having some power or influence in this world. And also, right, the collision of all of these different religions and power sets in the show is so beautiful, right? And the fact that each type of religion or group has its own power set, right? From what I just said now, I think I'm going to extrapolate another message, which is that human beings in general only unite if there is one common enemy. If there isn't one common enemy, we are usually at war amongst each other. They brought in the struggle of the Native Americans. While this theme was not specifically explored on the show, it was touched upon various times throughout the show through the character of Alrox, who's the person that actually took Richard's mom because she had actually killed his lover back in America. We even hear the Countess in one of the engagement make reference that once she conquers Europe, she will be proceeding to take over America, and Alrox will be the one that helps her conquer that particular continent. Now, the other struggle that I loved that the show actually explored is the complicated relationship between good and evil. How characters such as Richard's grandfather lose hope because of the ongoing war between good and evil, which they tend to lose their loved ones, and in the struggle, they themselves lose hope and end up either joining the evil side or abandoning the good fight. Moving on to the animation, oh man, it was beautiful. Okay, it looked amazing. All of the shots were crisp, and I remember a few key shots throughout the entirety of the season or through various episodes. So for example, some of the clothes that Edward was wearing, I remember them zooming down on a pair of shoes and he looked so crisp. Or for example, the gold-plated clothing of the Countess. And also Drolta. I remember there's one specific fight scene where she changes into like a leather-tied dress. It was so well done, but overall it was great. The action, I'll definitely give this a 10 out of 10. Something that blew my mind that I loved about the action scene is definitely Maria's power sets. So creative. The fact that she's able to summon portals and different kinds of animals come out of those portals was so amazing. I mean, there's this one specific shot where her mother's being attacked in the forest and she summons like a phoenix or a bird to catch her by the arm and fly her closer. I mean, that was so beautiful, dude. Even the creativity and some of the mythical creatures she was summoning to actually attack on her behalf. It was such a great use of power. And of course, I cannot forget that one episode where Richard got his power up, man. It was so amazing. Seeing him summon up all of that fire and actually burn the water around him, evaporate the water around him, and of course, proceeding to turn those vampires into all ash. Moving on to the characters, right? Starting with my most favorite character to the least favorite. Of course, the main protagonist, which is Richard. Perfect backstory in my opinion. But the one thing that I will say is that I feel like we didn't explore him dealing with the guilt of potentially being the reason for his mother dying. You can remember that in the episode 1, his mother did tell him to go to the ship and he did not do that. And as a result, during the fight between Altrox and his mother actually got distracted because of him and she ended up dying, right? So it would have been nice to see him reconcile that position, even though he was scared of Altrox and had a bit of trauma. That's just one element I feel we could have explored better, right? The second one, which is that while Richard is the main protagonist, to be honest with you, it did not feel like that. At the very most, I felt like he was a co-protagonist alongside Annette, right? Or even less so, because Annette did very much dominate the entirety of that season. And of course, the other thing, which is that I like the fact that Richard is so humble. Can't wait to see him explore his powers further. My second favorite character obviously is Maria. Okay, not Annette. I mean, the power set, so amazing, right? I wonder what the limitations of the creatures she can summon are, right? Can she summon bigger creatures? It would be great to see in future, if we do get another season, see her actually utilize a different set of powers. Now, what is she? Is she a witch? Because from watching the season, I actually couldn't figure out what race she actually is. And she's quite a tough kid, growing up in an environment like that, being for revolution. I was very impressed by her character. And obviously something that was heartbreaking, which is the way that she had to actually find out who her father was quite sad, man. Then my third favorite, yes, it is Annette. Though I will say with Annette, I did not like her attitude, okay? While I do understand that she had been a lot, I felt that she was very judgmental towards the struggle of other characters and very dismissive, and very rude, unnecessarily so. But nonetheless, I was very impressed with her as well. Her powers, the ability to utilize metal, her ability to manipulate earth. She's basically an earthbender, reminding me of The Last Airbender. And I can't wait again to see her utilize, her powers in future. When she finally unlocks the power of a goon, she's definitely going to be very powerful, right? And then the next one, of course, I've got Drolta, she's my fourth favorite. Such a dedicated vampire to the Countess. Okay, every scene she was in, her charisma, her lines, and even the way she was so dangerous, man. It was so impressive. And some honorable mentions. So starting off with Edward, while this dude could sing, man, when he was a night creature, like, he just creeped me out, right? Those eyes and the fact that those hands were, he sort of had like hands on his face, covering his face to show how ashamed he is, how much pain he's in. I will say it was something that was quite creepy. And then Alrox, okay, and the Countess, very much impressionable throughout the entire season. And lastly, Alucard, if he had more scenes, I'm definitely sure he would have taken top 3 position in this review. Now, moving on to the music choices, I'm not going to lie. Every music choice in this show was perfect. It was suspenseful, gritty, and kept you at the edge of your seat. Now, still on the music side of things, it was so creepy hearing Edward sing while he was a night creature. And the Countess literally had to say to somebody, tell him to keep quiet, because it was so creepy, so awkward, right? In the middle of such a tension situation, it just elevated it, right? So in conclusion, overall, I loved this animation series, okay? The cliffhanger was amazing. I would definitely want to see how Alucard is going to aid these guys in defeating the Countess, okay? The next season is not guaranteed yet. We need the numbers on Netflix. So if you have not seen the series yet, please make sure to go check it out, and I'll definitely give this a 9 out of 10. So let me know what you thought about Castlevania Nocturne in the comment section. If you enjoyed the video, definitely leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this. I'll check you in the next review.